Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new HMS news video. Today we're going to be talking about Le Mans GP, the French GP. Next up on the calendar, could we see a French rider on the top step for the first time in forever, if it's ever happened? I mean, I'm not even too sure on that little statistic, if I'm being honest. If you're expecting a win also in the gameplay in the background, just gonna heads up, don't even really be watching that. This new game is kind of difficult with no assists on the hardest AI, so God knows when we're gonna get a win on the game. But yeah, French riders for the top step of the podium in the French GP. Obviously, we've got two very good candidates. Obviously, Fabio Quartararo and Johann Zarco, both at the top level. They're fighting at the front this season. Obviously, he's Zarco. He had a good start to the season. Qatar was really good. Portimao had a little bit of a bike issue, caused him to crash, and Jerez, unfortunately, he wasn't quite at the front like the other two Ducatis. But and then Fabio Quartararo, obviously great season for him. Obviously, unfortunately, got the arm pump, which would have cut. Well, he did cut. Obviously, he would have got a hat trick of wins, which would have been a little bit of a worrying thing to see, obviously, for the rivals, to see him on a winning streak. But luckily for them, I guess you could say, he got arm pump and obviously dropped down. So obviously he wouldn't pull out so many points in the championship. But hopefully, obviously, if he's all fully fit again. Obviously, he had that operation not long after the GP, and we have had a couple of weeks in between the races. So hopefully it doesn't affect him or anything. And obviously, he feels confident and at his best level, like we've seen him, throughout the season. Honestly, Fabio Quartararo has been the top Yamaha rider by far, honestly, so far in 2021. And obviously Le Mans GP. Obviously, last season it was wet, so it was a rather interesting race. It was a dry race, obviously Yamaha, they go really well around Le Mans, and obviously Quartararo, I mean, if he obviously got the win around Le Mans, that would be absolutely crazy. Obviously French rider winning at the French Grand Prix would be amazing, obviously, for the French fans and public and that. And obviously Johann Zarco, he's obviously another good candidate. Obviously Ducati won last season, and it was a wet race. But they do usually go pretty well around Le Mans. It's not a track with long straights or anything like that, but they have usually been fighting at the podium, usually with Dovizioso and fighting at the front. So he's obviously could go pretty well. This new bike obviously looks like it works pretty well around corners. Obviously got P1 and 2 around Jerez, which is a track where they don't usually go too well out. Obviously hadn't won since 2006. So that new frame looks like it does work on the Ducati, and slower corners and turning and that. So it could go pretty well around Le Mans. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me if it did. And obviously Johann Zarco, he did get close to being at the front when he was on Tech 3. So he has that spirit, when in the French Grand Prix, the French riders always perform maybe a little bit better than what they do other places, and they have more oomph in them to go ahead and win the home Grand Prix. And obviously it's going to be good to see Johann Zarco obviously on the factory Ducati, although it is in Pramac colours, and obviously then Fabio Quartararo on the factory Yamaha. Obviously both on the best bikes, honestly, on the grid. And to see them both fighting at the front, it could be very interesting. Also, we got our first French P2 and P1 and P2 in a long time, not long ago in the other race, and in Qatar and that. So it's going to be very interesting. That's obviously two great candidates for the win. Hopefully one of them can get it. It would be nice to see. Obviously Quartararo, if arm pump doesn't affect him, I think he's going to be very strong on that Yamaha. And obviously I think Johann Zarco also is definitely going to probably deliver. So make sure you leave down in the comments, guys, what are your thoughts on it all? Who do you think, or do you think, could we see one of these two riders on the top step for the French GP? Make sure you leave down in the comments, leave a like and subscribe for more content as always, and I'll see you with some brand new videos very soon.